Namaste children, welcome to today's maths class and we are discussing 5th chapter lines and angles. In the previous class we discussed the linear pair of angles, adjacent angles, complementary angles, supplementary angles, linear pair of angles and different types of angles based on their measure. And today we are going to discuss about the lines like intersecting lines, perpendicular lines, concurrent lines, parallel lines and a transversal. Then what are the angles made by a transversal? What we call such angles? We will discuss in detail in this class. So the first thing it is intersecting lines. Intersecting lines. So what are intersecting lines? Intersecting lines, the lines which have only one common point. The lines which have only one common point are called intersecting lines. The lines which have only one intersecting point or one common point, which have only one common point are called intersecting lines, and that point is known as point of intersection. Select here, you take these two lines L and M. So here L and this is M, they have only one common point. This is the common point and this common point is known as point of intersection. Point of intersection. So this kind of lines are known as intersecting lines. They have only one common point. Such lines are known as intersecting lines. Now we will discuss parallel lines. Parallel lines. So what are parallel lines? Parallel lines are the lines which do not have any common point. Which do not have any common point means they don't have any common point. Such lines are known as parallel lines. The lines which do not have any common point, there is no common point, any common point are called parallel lines, and this is the example for a parallel lines. You see the railway track L and M. Here both are parallel lines. The symbol for parallelity is the symbol for parallelity or parallel lines. Parallel lines is the symbol for parallel lines is two vertical lines will represent. So this is the symbol for parallel lines. Here L is parallel to M. L is parallel to M. We write like this. L and M are parallel lines. Next we will discuss here concurrent lines. Concurrent lines. What are concurrent lines? The lines which more than two lines which intersects at one common point. The lines are more than two lines. Two or more than two lines which intersects at one common point are called concurrent lines. Here two means particularly we call them as intersecting lines. More than two means three. The lines which intersect at one point. The lines which intersects at one point are called concurrent lines. And that point is known as point of concurrence. Like this, let this is one line L and this is one more line M and this is one line L N. Now this is the point. This point is known as point of concurrence. Point of concurrence. Now we will discuss one more line, that is transversal, the new topic for you. Transversal. transversal. We'll discuss and what are the angles made by the transversal with a pair of lines. They may be parallel lines or they may not be parallel lines. We'll discuss. Now, transversal line, or simply it is transversal. What is a transversal? It is a line. What it do? It intersects a pair of lines or more than two or more than lines at distinct points. At distinct points, this is different points. Such line is known as a transversal line. A line which intersects, a line which intersects a pair of lines at distinct points, at two distinct points, at two distinct or different, or two different points is known as a transversal. Is known as a transversal. So this is what is a transversal? It is a line which intersects a pair of lines. We are restricted to class 7 only a pair of lines. The transversal may intersect more than two lines, that is a pair of lines. So at two different points is known as a transversal. You see here, this is two lines L and M, or two lines L and M. Let P is another line. P is intersecting line L at A, line M at P. So two different points. Now we call here P is called the transversal. This is the here transversal. P is a transversal line. You can take one more pair of lines. This is X and this is what? That is X and this is what it is? Y. Now these two lines are intersected by a pair of lines. X and Y is intersected by another line P. Here P is also a transversal. P is also a transversal by line X and Y is intersected by the transversal P at different points A and this is B. A and B. Now we will discuss what it is. You take here, let this is one line L and this is another line M and this is the P, line P. Here can we call P is a transversal? Can we call P is a transversal? No. Why? Because P is intersecting the line L and M at only one point. Transversals should intersect two lines at two different points, but here it is intersecting at only one point. So P is not a transversal. It is not a transversal line. It is not a transversal line. So here P is not a transversal line, and here both P are these two figures. P is a transversal line. Now we are going to discuss the angles made by the transversal. Angles made by the transversal. Now we will discuss angles made by a transversal. Select L and M are two lines. L and M are two lines, and P is a transversal. Then the angles formed are. So what are the angles we have? Exterior angles, interior angles, pairs of corresponding angles, pairs of alternate interior angles, pairs of alternate exterior angles, pairs of interior angles on the same side of the transversal. So exterior angles means what? Exterior means outside. Outside of what? The two lines L and M. Here L and M we have two lines. Between these two lines inside we have four angles are there, that is 3, 4, 5 and 6. 3, 4 and 5, 6. These are the angles which are there between these two inside interior of the two lines. Whereas angle 1 and angle 2, angle 7 and angle 8, they are outside the lines are there. That is exterior part of the lines. Then we can call such lines are known as exterior angles. Here angle 1, angle 2, angle 7 and angle 8 are exterior angles. They are exterior angles. Interior angles are what? 3, 4, 5, 6. These 4 angles are interior angles. Angle 1, angle 2, angle 7 and angle 8 are exterior angles. So what are exterior angles? Angle 1, comma, angle 2, comma, angle 7, comma, angle 8. Then what are interior angles? Angle 3, comma, angle 4, comma, angle 5, comma, angle 6. Angle 4, angle 3, angle 5 and angle 6 are the interior angles. Now, pairs of corresponding angles. You see here angle 1 and angle 5. Angle 1, angle 5. Angle 2 and angle 6. Angle 3, angle 7. Angle 4 and angle 8 are corresponding angles. What are corresponding angles? Two angles from each line and they should be on the same side of the transversal. On the same side of the transversal, that is angle 1 and angle 5. So what are here the pairs of corresponding angles? Angle 1 comma angle 5, angle 1 comma angle 5, and the other pair it is angle 2 comma angle 6, angle 2 comma angle 6. Then the other pairs are what? Angle 3 comma angle 7, angle 3 comma angle 7 and angle 4 comma angle 8. We have 4 pairs of corresponding angles are there. Angle 1 comma angle 5, angle 2 comma angle 6, angle 3 comma angle 7 and angle 4 comma angle 8. Next, pairs of alternate interior angles. Alternate means on either side of the transversal. Means pair means it is two angles you should consider that one angle should be one side of the transversal, the other angle should be on the other side of the transversal. So it is pairs of alternate interior angles, interior alternate angles, alternate interior angles. So 3 and 5 they are interior angles and they are there on either side of the transversal P. So 3 comma 5 is one pair of alternate interior angles. Similarly 4 and 6 they are on either side of the transversal and they are called 4 and 6 are known as alternate interior angles. Alternate interior angles. Therefore, what are the two pairs of alternate interior angles we have? Angle 3, comma angle 5 and angle 4, comma angle 6 are the two pairs of alternate interior angles. Next, pairs of alternate exterior angles. You see here 1 and 7, 2 and 8. Both these are two pairs of angles are there on the outside of the lines. That is exterior angles, but these angles are there on either side of the transversal. See 1 and 7, angle 1 is there on the left side and angle 7 is on the right side. Similarly angle 2 and angle 8, one angle is there on the right side, the other angle is there on the left side. That pair of angles are known as alternate exterior angles. Pairs of alternate exterior angles are what? Angle 1 comma angle 7 and angle 2 comma angle 8. Angle 2 comma angle 8. Now, pairs of interior angles on the same side of the transversal. Interior angles on the same side of the transversal. Observe the figure. 3 and 6. 3 comma 6 on the same side of the transversal and the interior angles. 4 and 5 on the same side of the transversal and the interior angles. That is angle 3 comma angle 6 and angle 4 comma angle 5 are pairs of interior angles on the same side of the transversal. So these are the different types of angles formed by a transversal with a pair of lines. A pair of lines, exterior angles, interior angles, corresponding angles, then alternate interior angles, alternate exterior angles, interior angles on the same side of the transversal. Now we will study these these angles for a pair of parallel lines. What are the properties of these lines for these angles for a pair of parallel lines? When a pair of parallel lines are intersected by a transversal, we will discuss now. Now we will discuss transversal of parallel lines. Let L and M are two parallel lines and P is a transversal. Then Same as usual, alternate interior angles will be formed, alternate exterior angles will be formed, corresponding angles will be formed, angles on the same interior angles on the same side of the transversal are also formed. How they are? So if you measure this angle 3 and angle 5, angle 4 and angle 6, angle 4 and angle 6, their measures are equal. That is angle 3 and angle 5, their measures are also equal. It means that alternate interior angles are equal. Alternate interior angles are equal. That is, what are here alternate interior angles? Angle 3 is equals to angle 5 and angle 4 is equals to angle 6. Angle 3 is equals to angle 5, angle 4 is equal to angle 6. It means that angle 3 is equal to 60 degrees means angle 5 is also 60 degrees. If angle 6 is equals to 50 degrees means angle 4 will be 50 degrees. That is, alternate interior angles are equal. Now alternate exterior angles are also equal. That is angle 1 and angle 7, angle 2 and angle 8. That is angle 1 is equals to angle 7 and angle 2 is equals to angle 4. Angle 2 is equals to angle 4. Again angle 2 is equals to angle 8. Angle 2 is equals to angle 8. If angle 1 is equals to 150 degrees, angle 7 is also 150 degrees. If angle 8 is 30 degrees, angle 2 will be 30 degrees. Now what about the corresponding angles? The corresponding angles are also equal. That is, angle 1 is equals to angle 5, angle 2 is equals to angle 6, and angle 3 is equals to angle 7, angle 4 is equals to angle 8. That is, corresponding angles are also equal. So what are the corresponding angles which we will get here? It is angle 1 is equals to angle 5. Angle 1 is equals to angle 5 and angle 2 is equals to angle 6. Angle 2 is equals to angle 6 and also angle 3 is equals to angle 7 and angle 4 is equals to angle 8. Here we have 4 pairs of corresponding angles are there and they are equal for parallel lines. Now interior angles on the same side of the transversal are supplementary. Supplementary means what it is? The pair of angles whose sum is equals to 180 degrees. Here interior angles are the same side, that is angle 3 and angle 6. Interior angles are the same side. Similarly angle 4 and angle 5, they are also on the same side of the transversal and they are supplementary angles. It means that their sum is equals to 180 degrees. That is angle 3 plus angle 6 is equals to 180 degrees. Angle 4 plus angle 5 is equals to 180 degrees. So this is the interior angles on the same side of the transversal. It is supplementary angles. Corresponding angles are equal. Alternate interior angles are equal. Alternate exterior angles are also equal. If you are given any two lines and a transversal, if the transversal satisfies any one of this property, that is alternate interior angles property, alternate exterior angle property, corresponding angles property, interior angles on the same side of the transversal or supplementary. Any one of these 4 properties is satisfied by a pair of lines with transversal, then the 2 lines are parallel lines. When we consider the 2 lines are parallel lines, if any one of these 4 properties is satisfied by a pair of lines with transversal, then that pair of lines are parallel lines. When we consider 2 lines are parallel, if one pair of alternate interior angles are equal, they are parallel. Or if one pair of external angles are equal, they are parallel. Or corresponding angles are equal, they are parallel. Or interior angles on the same side of the transversal are supplementary, then they are parallel. So this is about the angles made by a transversal with the parallel lines. So now with this knowledge what we studied, we will discuss problems from exercise number 5.2. Now we will discuss exercise number 5.2. The first question, state the property that is used in each of the following statements. Observe the figure. Here A and B are two lines intersected by two transversals. For one transversal, angles are given 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. In this figure, 3 and 6, 4 and 5 are interior angles, 1, 2, 7 and 8 are exterior angles, 1, 7, 2 and 8 alternate exterior angles, 3, 5, 4 and 6 alternate interior angles, 3 and 6 interior angles are the same side of the transversal, 4 and 5 are interior angles on the same side of the transversal, angle 1, angle 5, angle 2, angle 6, angle 3, angle 7 and angle 4 and angle 8 are corresponding angles. Now the statements are given here, three statements. So we have to identify the property. If A and B are parallel, if the two lines A and B are parallel, then angle 1 is equals to angle 5. If these two lines are parallel, then angle 1 and angle 5 are equal. What is the property which is related to angle 1 and angle 5? It is corresponding angles. So which property it is? Corresponding angles. Corresponding angles property. Corresponding angles property. So here 1 and 5 both are equal. Angle 1 and angle 5 are equal. They are corresponding angles. Next, if angle 4 is equals to angle 6, 4 and 6 both are equal. What are 4 and 6? Alternate interior angles. Alternate interior angles. Then A is parallel to B. So what is the property related to angle 4 and angle 6? It is alternate interior angles property. B it is alternate interior angles property. Interior angles property. Interior angles property. Next, the C bit. If angle 4 plus angle 5, angle 4 and angle 5 is equals to 180 degrees. What are angle 4 and 5? Interior angles on the same side of the transversal. Interior angles on the same side of the transversal. If they are supplementary angles, that is 180 degrees, then A is parallel to B. Then what is the property here? It is interior angles. Interior angles on the same side of the transversal. On the same side of the transversal. Transversal, same side of the transversal or supplementary. They are supplementary angles. That is, sum of those two angles is equals to what? It is 180 degrees. 180 degrees. Now, the third question. In the adjoining figure, P and Q are two lines that are parallel to each other. P and Q are parallel lines. Find the unknown angles. Observe the figure. In the figure, one angle is given. It is 125 degrees. We have to find what are the unknown angles. Angle A, angle B, angle D and angle C. Using the properties what we studied, the corresponding angles, alternate interior angles, alternate exterior angles, linear pair of angles, supplementary angles, what it is, then complementary angles. Using that concepts, those concepts, we have to find the unknown angles here. Now you see here 125 degrees and angle E. Both are what? These two angles. They are linear pair of angles. That is angle E plus 125 degrees is equals to 180 degrees. Therefore, angle E is equals to 180 minus 125. We will get as 55 degrees as the angle E. Now we will find the solution here easily. So angle E plus 125 degrees is equals to 180 degrees. That is linear pair of angles. Therefore, angle E is equals to 180 degrees minus 125 degrees, which is equals to angle E is equals to what? 55 degrees. By subtracting 125 from 180, we will get what it is 55 degrees. Now what about angle E and angle F? They are vertically opposite angles. Angle F is equals to angle E, that is just now we found here 55 degrees. What is the reason here? It is vertically opposite angles. Vertically opposite angles. equal. Now we got angle B, we got angle F, we got. Now observe, what about angle E and angle A? Angle E and angle A, they are corresponding angles. Angle F and angle A, what about this angle F and angle A? They are alternate interior angles. Alternate interior angles. So we can find here this angle A is equals to angle E. That is equals to angle E is how much it is? 55 degrees. What is the reason it is? Corresponding angles. Corresponding angles are equal. Corresponding angles are equal. They are equal from the parallel lines. Vertically opposite angles are also equal when two lines are intersected. Now A we got, F we got, and E we got. Then what about D and 125 degrees? They are again corresponding angles. The corresponding angles. Now what about F and C? They are corresponding angles. And what about D? D and B both are what? Vertically opposite angles. Now we find here D you find, or you can find B also, we can find they. So now we see D here, and D is equals to 125 degrees. That is corresponding angles are equal. Like this you have to write the reason also. Corresponding angles are equal. Corresponding angles are equal. Now what about B? D we know it is 125 degrees. Then B will be what? Again it is 125 degrees because both are vertically opposite angles. Now angle B is equals to angle D, which is equals to 125 degrees. That is vertically opposite angles are equal. Opposite angles are equal. Vertically opposite angles are equal. Now see, we have to find C. What about C? Angle A and angle C, vertically opposite angles. Or angle F and angle C, both are what? Corresponding angles. So we can use any one property. Now there it is. Angle A is equals to angle C. That is angle C is equals to angle A, which is equals to again 55 degrees. That is vertically opposite angles. Vertically opposite angles are equal. Vertically opposite angles are equal. So like this we use the properties what we studied so far. Vertically opposite angles, linear pair of angles, supplementary angles, complementary angles, corresponding angles, exterior angles, alternate exterior angles, alternate interior angles, interior angles on the same side of the transversal. We will find the unknown angles. We will continue to find some more unknown angles from exercise number 5.2. Now we will discuss exercise number 5.2, 6th minute. In the given figures below, decide whether L is parallel to M or not. When L and M are parallel, when a transversal it is intersected by these two lines. If a pair of corresponding angles are equal, then they are parallel. Or if a pair of alternate interior angles are equal, they are parallel. Or a pair of alternate exterior angles are equal, they are parallel. Or a pair of interior angles on the same side of the transversal are supplementary, then they are parallel lines. Otherwise, they are not parallel lines. Now, you see the first question. Here, L and M are two lines, and N is a transversal. So here two angles are given, 44 degrees and 126 degrees. What are these two degrees? How they are lying? They are lying on the same side of the transversal. And where do they lie? They are interior part. So can we call these two angles are interior angles on the same side of the transversal. Interior angles on the same side of the transversal. If sum of these two angles is equal to 180 degrees, definitely L and M are parallel. Otherwise, they are not parallel. So you find out here 44 degrees plus 126 degrees is equals to what we get it is 44 plus 126, 4 plus 6, 10, 5 plus 2, 7 and 1, 170 degrees. 170 degrees. Therefore, L is not parallel to M. Why? Because they are not parallel. Why? Because the sum of the two interior angles on the same side of the transversal are not supplementary. If it is equals to 180 degrees, instead then L and M are parallel to each other because interior angles are the same side. Interior angles on the same side of the transversal. Same side of the transversal are not supplementary. They are not supplementary. So these angles are not supplementary angles. The two angles which are given, they are interior angles on the same side of the transversal, but their sum is not equals to 180 degrees. Hence, the lines L and M are not parallel to each other. Now, the second question you will see here. The second question. So here, L and M are two lines are given, and here two different angles are given, 57 degrees and 123 degrees. That is one interior angle and one exterior angle. You have to prove whether they are parallel lines or not. So by using the concept of corresponding angles or alternate interior angles or alternate exterior angles or angles on the same side of the transversal also you can find out. Now what about this angle? This angle will be both are alternate interior angles. Both are vertically opposite angles. Therefore it is 57 degrees. Now these two angles are on the same side of the transversal. So 123 plus 57, 180 degrees. Hence L and M are parallel. This is one way. The second way, you find this angle. What about these two angles? They are linear pair of angles. Therefore this angle will be 180 minus 53. You will get 123 degrees. So this is 123 degrees and this is also 123 degrees. That is corresponding angles. So we can use the concept of corresponding angles. Or you find this angle. What about these two angles? They are linear pair of angles. Again this angle is equals to 180 degrees minus 57, which will get 123. Now this is 123 and this is 123. They are again what? Alternate interior angles. Alternate interior angles. So you can use any one method to find them. Let this angle is equals to, I am taking this angle is equals to what? X. So here we have used interior angles on the same side of the transversal. We will use let this concept, let this is X. From the figure X plus 57 degrees is equals to 180 degrees. The reason it is linear pair of angles. Now X is equals to 180 minus 57 degrees. We will get X is equals to 123 degrees. Now this is X is equals to 123 degrees and this is given 123 degrees. Both are vertically opposite angles. Here that is X is equal to 123. Now from the figure X is equals to 123. Both are what? 123 degrees. They are what? Alternate interior angles. Alternate interior angles. Interior angles. And they are equal. Therefore, L is parallel to M. Why they are parallel to each other? Because one pair of alternate interior angles are equal. Because one pair of alternate interior angles are equal. Therefore, L and M are parallel to each other. I hope you understand today's concept. And your homework it is, when you come to the homework part, we have exercise number 5.2, exercise number 5.2, question number 2, question number 4 and question number 6, second bit and the fourth bit. This is your homework. So please complete the given homework and thank you very much.